Hello, we're MossCharmly.
And on today's episode, we're going to talk about inspirations. Specifically, Yoshitaka Amano.
Yes. You might know him from his work on Final Fantasy as a character designer, or maybe even Vampire Hunter D. Mm-hmm. He's done so much.
He's a legend.
Yes, he really is. Mm-hmm. He's also took part in doing character designs for like Gatchaman, released in the US as G-Force and Battle of the Planets.
Yeah. He's
illustrated books, working in collaboration with many writers. So we'll get started. I'll give a little history or a little bit about Amano and how he started.
That's pretty cool.
Yeah.
Here we go.
Okay. He's from Shizuoka, which is famous for tea eels and Mount Fuji.
Oh.
He got started when a good friend from grade school had to move to Tokyo. And when Amano was around 14, he went to go see his friend who moved to Tokyo. And his friend was showing him around the area. He mentioned this is where a lot of mangaka live and also an animation studio, Tatsunoko Productions, I think. And it was in its 5th year since that company started at the time.
Oh.
His friend took him on a tour, so he went on a tour, and Amano was sketching during the break time and left some of his sketches on the table, and he also brought some of his own artwork with him. So he's really bold, and he just left his work there for the people to look at.
Wow.
So he left it there and finished the field trip, and about 2 weeks later, his parents got a call from that company asking him to hire him, and he was only 14 at the time.
Wow.
Yeah.
See, that's a legend.
That's a legend. And so instead of going to high school, he left for Tokyo and started working there at 15.
Wow.
Yeah.
That's serious business.
It's serious. He's done so much in between like 15 and like
now.
And now and it's like 15 and then at 30 he became a freelance artist and has collaborated with writers and illustrators as an illustrator. Wow. Had many exhibitions of his paintings. He's done concept work for video games.
All over the world, yeah.
Yeah, he's done. Yeah, you're right. All over the world. He's done theater and film scenic design and costume design. He's done a lot. So, but we're just now.
He's got vision.
Yeah, he's got vision.
Yeah, serious.
So he kind of came into our world, and he's inspired us, and we just wanted to kind of talk about like how we were introduced to Yoshitaka Amano's work.
Yeah.
So,
I mean,
how were you?
Yeah, I honestly had no idea who he was at all. I had no idea what. It was like, seeing artwork and you sort of see it and you have it in the back of your mind, but you can't really put the name or the face to the artist, or you're just kind of, I kind of like that stuff. And it's just kind of like, okay, but it's like so many different variations of his style and like how he really like presented his artwork. It's amazing when you look at the body of his work.
Yeah.
Because you're like, he did all this in so many different, I mean, if you think
huge.
about it, huge, right? And it was like, in a real way, I thought it was multiple different artists, because of just, someone would stick to a specific style or presentation of their artwork, and he didn't. He's done the gambit and still does, because he's always learning, and just like everyone should, of course, but sorry, rambling. But
no, you're good.
When I was introduced to him, it was more of like, I was introduced to D, so it was like Vampire Hunter D, saw the first one, it was okay. Course, but it was good,
Yeah, I feel the same way.
Right? Bloodlust came out, and then it was like, well, gonna have to watch this again because this is seriously amazing. So it was a piece of art, and it was like, it kind of feels like, who was the person who did the concept art? That's really what drove me to finding out who he was. And then I find out, dude, the dude did, Gatchaman, Battle for the Planets, or G-Force.
Yeah.
I mean, I got lunch pails for this guy.
You
like,
do?
Yeah, it's like, wow. And it just hit where it was like, wow, this guy, he's such an amazing artist. And it just really just sort of sunk in, honestly, when I started really looking more into depth and, who he was and the life that he chose and what he's done. I mean, so, yeah, it was amazing. So.
That was perfectly put, actually.
Yeah, thank you very much. How about yourself? I mean, what was it like when you were introduced to him?
I was introduced to him through his character designs for Final Fantasy, but I never really played the game. I just actually saw an art book with the concepts for it, his illustrations, and then how it was also translated to 3D art in it. And I thought it was incredible. I was really impressed with that. But when it first got me collecting his art books, but what really got me was seeing Vampire Hunter D Bloodlust. I saw Vampire Hunter D, but when I saw Bloodlust, I really liked it. I read the books for his art. I read the books because of his art, but I wasn't crazy about the books. I really liked how they translated Bloodlust through all of that, and it just, I like all of his darker characters in his art, and it just that was just really inspiring to me. That moved me.
His dark stuff's really amazing.
Yeah.
Really amazing, you know? Yeah, I agree. It's beautiful work, period.
Yeah.
Like, it's like, wow. It's so, to me, I see it.
Yeah.
And a lot of the stuff you'd see for like D, it's so organic to me. And that's just such a, like, kind of like, I don't know, just a blanketed word, but it really is almost alive, like how it flows. It's such a reminiscent to me. It's almost like being underwater.
Yes.
Being in like, being underwater and you're actually looking at a kelp forest. Like, I've always felt that way about like seeing some of his work where you're like, whoa, hold on. This is amazing. How these shapes and forms and light and how everything hits. I mean, it's such a random association, but it's like
perfect. It's
amazing how he really has life and movement that just is amazing. So to see.
I agree with that. It's just flowing and free. I feel the same way about it, actually.
Yeah. Gorgeous. So
I also like his how he drew Gwyn in the Gwyn saga, like
yes.
the leopard-headed
Yes.
character, and it's like how his eyes would just look at you with such intensity. It felt very threatening.
Yeah, he was a presence.
Yeah. He's a presence. You walk into a room.
He was okay.
Oh no.
Yeah, dude. That was a beautiful, beautiful concept art, that he created for Gwyn.
Yeah.
So, Gwyn. Yeah.
Do you have a favorite of anything that he's done, or just anything in particular?
Honestly, I think it just I can't say that I have a favorite because it's more of like seeing how he developed, sort of like the characters for me, and I definitely have to say that, yeah, I would say the one I lean towards, like instinctive answer, would be D, and that style of artwork and what he did. But, he's, really, really, really created such wonderful pieces that it's almost like it's hard for me to answer that, obviously.
Yeah,
so,
I agree with that. I
but,
feel the same way.
Yeah, it's kind of like, well, D.
Yeah, D. He's done flowery fairies and
Yeah.
like just beautiful, just everything. He's done so many different things, so many different ways of expressing it that it's just, I like a lot of it too.
Right? Different subject matter, just a completely different look, like how he was able to do things,
Yeah, it's like picking and choosing a specific one. I just like so many of them.
It's almost like that's why he is inspirational.
Yeah.
It's almost like, wow, he was not limited, because sometimes as an artist, you're kind of like, you kind of go into that little slot where you're like, okay, this is the artwork that I'm doing because that's the artwork that maybe people may like.
Yeah, he
And
did
it's
not go through that at all, and that's what makes him such a powerhouse.
That's inspirational right there.
Yes.
So it's like, that's an amazing feat just to
He
have.
followed his gut.
Right? Yeah. He just went with his art. So it's awesome.
Yeah.
But yeah.
Yeah.
How about you? You got anything special?
No, I actually feel the exact same way with that. I like his darker work. A lot of like black and white but
The ink work that he did.
yeah,
Amazing,
like
right?
I love the ink work and how flowy it is. I love his colorful stuff, all of his colorful stuff. It's gorgeous to me. I mean, I can't really pick and choose. I could really say I like his darker stuff and I like the colorful things, and it's just pretty much the same thing where it's like I like that blanketed, how his art is just beautiful and
Right?
yeah, expressive.
Can't put your finger on it.
Yeah.
It's just like, that's good.
You can't. It's like picking a fish. I like that one. In the sea. It's like
can't do
it's so flowy. It's the whole thing,
Exactly, right? It's all alive. It's amazing. Yeah.
And the rest of this, we're gonna show like our clip studio
Speed painting.
speed painting.
Yeah. So we're both going to be doing D, obviously, and we hope you enjoy it.
Yeah.
It'll be in the background while we're talking about, Amano. So, please, enjoy. And we hope you like and subscribe. And we're going to be doing a series of inspirational artists that inspire us, and we really hope it inspires you.
Yes.
So, yeah. Thank you.
Thank you so much.
MossCharmly out.
MossCharmly out.
Here we go.
We did it.
Sure.